all together for the prayer in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning, class. You may now take your seat. So, how are you today? Oh, that's very nice. So, before we start our lesson, let's have first some review. So, what is our lesson yesterday? Do you remember? Yes, Miss Katrina. Okay, that's correct. Yesterday, we discussed about poetry. So, when we say poetry, it is a type of literature that follows a specific structure, pattern, rhythm, rhymes, and so on and so forth. So, today, we will be discussing a new topic, which is a new poetry rather, which is entitled Hiroshima Child by Nazim Hikmet. But before that, let's have first some activity. So we have here, our activity is called Match Me. So we have here 5 different meanings, and I have here 5 different words, and I want you to pick a word and post it to its corresponding meaning. So let's all start. Who can try? Okay, Mr. Luigi, please come forward. So, alright, thank you. So, now let's check. Okay. Number 1, we have separate and move off quickly in different directions. So, it is scattered. Correct. Next, we have number 2, move in a twisting or spiraling pattern. So, it is called swirling. Next, we have a modern city in Japan that was largely destroyed by an atomic bomb during World War II, which is the Hiroshima. Correct. And for number 4, we have it means to burn by flames or heat. It means, or it is called scorch. And lastly, we have the sound of someone walking is called tread. Okay, you can see it clearly. We have here the tread. Okay, class, let's now proceed to our topic, which is the poem entitled Hiroshima Child. So we have here So we have here entitled Hiroshima Child by Nazim Hikmet. So let's all read it all together. Ready? Okay. So Hiroshima Child by Nazim Hikmet. So I come and stand at every door, but none can hear my silent tread. I knock and yet remain unseen, for I am dead, for I am dead. I'm only 7, though I died in Hiroshima long ago. I'm 7 now, as I was then. When children die, they do not grow. So my hair was scorched by swirling flame. My eyes grew dim, my eyes grew blind. Death came and turned my bones to dust, and that was scattered by the wind. I need no fruit, I need no rice. I need no sweets, nor even bread. I ask for nothing for myself, for I am dead, for I am dead. All that I need is that for peace. You fight today, you fight today, so that the children of this world can live and grow and laugh and play. So do you like the poem? Alright, that's good. Before we dig deeper to the meaning of to the message of the poem, let's all first know the author of this poem, which is Nazim Hikmet. So who is Nazim Hikmet? So Nazim Hikmet's full name was Nazim Hikmet Ran. So he was born on January 15, 1902 at the Thessalonica, Greece, and died on June 3, 1963 at Moscow, Russia at the age of 61 years old. So he was a Turkish poet, a playwright, a novelist, a screenwriter, a director, and memoirist. So he is known as the first modern poet from Turkey. So he was exposed to poetry at a young age through his artist mother and poet grandfather, and he also had his poem published at the age of 17 years old. So Nazim Hikmet was recognized around the world as one of the great international poets. So many of his works had been translated into more than 50 languages around the world. Thus, mastering the field of literature, especially the poetry, gave him the power to influence the Turkish literature or his own country. So, he was acclaimed for the lyrical flaw of his statements and described as a romantic communist and romantic revolutionary. So, it started when he came back from Moscow, Russia, where he was influenced by other writers that he had met and returned in his own country and became a Marxist. So when we say a Marxist, it means that he believed that the social class are the cause of the struggles of the society. So being a Marxist led him to start a communist propaganda, or in our generation, it is called a rally. And because of this, he was sentenced in jail for almost 12 years. But then in 1951, he left his country, the Turkey, for good or forever, and continues his works in other countries. So his works mostly embrace the struggles and freedom and equality and the promotion of justice. Now that you already know the author of this poem, let's now dig deeper to the poem itself, which is the Hiroshima Child. So, some other people call this poem as the Little Girl of Hiroshima. So, this poem was written around the end of World War II. So, actually, Nazim Hikmet doesn't have any direct connection to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But then, he wrote this poem because of his ideals and philosophies that he believed in life. Okay, so, this poem is about a 7-year-old girl who died ruthlessly during the bombing in the Hiroshima, Japan. So this poem deals with the tragic events that happened during the past, the effects of wars, the loss of life and innocence of the children, and the destruction. So the first 4 stanza here describes the suffering of a young girl during the bombing in the Hiroshima. So it describes the life or how the life of a child ended in just a blink of her eyes. So this poem emphasized the distress of a dead girl who cannot do anything but to die while others killing their hopes. So in the final stanza here, it also emphasized that we need to work for peace. So this encourages us to do something to regain the peace where the children or the next generation can live and grow and laugh and play. Okay class, now that you understand the poem or the message of the poem, let's now identify the different elements that present in the poem itself. So first we have the stanza. So in the poem, how many stanza are there in the poem? So let's count, alright? So we have here the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there are 5 stanza. Next, we have the line. So how many lines are there in each stanza? Let's all count. Okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is called a line. So each stanza there are 4 lines. So the 4 lines is also called as quatrain. Okay? Now let's proceed to the next element of the poem, which is the rhythm. So in this poem, we can identify the rhythm through the use of the unstressed and stressed syllable. So, for example, in the first line, I come and stand at every door. So, first, the word I indicates as unstressed syllable. Next, we have the word come, which indicates the stressed syllable. So, this pattern indicates that it is, or the author used the iambic pattern. So, let's identify the other stressed and unstressed syllables in the first line. So, the word and here symbolizes or expressed as unstressed syllable. The word stand is a stressed syllable. The word at is unstressed syllable. And the word ev, you cut it because there are two syllables in the word every. So, the word, so the syllable ev here was indicate as stressed syllable, and the word re here, or the syllable re, indicate as unstressed syllable, and the word door here indicate as stressed syllable. So overall, we have the I come and stand at every door. So the pattern used by the author was iambic pattern. Next, we have here meter. So when identifying meter, it is important that we must first learn how to identify the rhythm of the poem, because the meter will be, or the meter is all about the measurement of the poem, and it will be depends on how many rhythm are there in this specific line of the poem. So for example here, now we already identified the rhythm, which is the iambic. So let's count how many iambic pattern in a line. So we have here the I and come is 1, and in stand is 2, at and F is 3, and re and door is 4. It means there are 4 foot or 4 foot in each line. So the 4 foot is also known as the tetrameter. So our pattern or our rhythm is iambic, and our meter is tetrameter. So the author uses iambic tetrameter. Now let's proceed to the rhymes. Although the poem doesn't have any specific structure or pattern of the rhymes, but then there are several, or there are few words that rhyme to each other. For example here, in the first stanza, we have the word thread, which rhymes to the word dead. For the second stanza, we have here the word ago, which rhyme to the word grow. And for the third stanza, we have here the word blind, that rhymes to the word wind. For the fourth stanza, we have here the word bread, that rhymes to the word dead. And for the last stanza, we have here the word today, which rhymes to the word play. So those are the few rhyming words present in the poem. Next, we have here the mood. So let's identify what mood is present, or what mood does the author display in the poem. So what do you think? Yes, Miss Cat. Okay, correct. So the author uses the mood of sadness, since it is all about the dead girl who was hoping for peace, but then she can't do anything because she was already dead. Next, we have here the theme. So what do you think is the theme of this poem? Anyone? Yes, David. A peace. All right, that's correct. So overall, the theme of this poem is all about a call for peace. Why? Because in the last stanza here, the author wants us to fight today, to fight fight for what? It's to fight for peace. So the author wants us to do something so that the children of the future generation can live and grow and laugh and play. So he wants us to do something for the peace so that the world will be safe for the future generations. Okay, class? Now that you have already learned the different elements present in the poem, now let's identify the different figurative languages used by the author. First, we have the imagery. So in writing this poem, Nazim Hikmet uses simple languages to express his ideas. So for example, I come and stand at every door. So this line emphasizes only what it was meant to say to us. So the word imagery here, or the figurative languages, which is the imagery here, he used it to create a vivid description to the mind of the readers. So for example, in the third stanza, first line, my hair was scorched by swirling flame. So although he can say that the hair of the girl was burning, but then he added some few words such as the word scorch and the word swirling. So through with this, the author create a vivid mind or vivid image to the reader's point of view or the reader's mind. So this gave them a much more precise understanding of what is the poem is all about. Next, the author also uses anaphora. So what is anaphora? So when we say anaphora, it means that the repetition of the words or phrase at the beginning. So for example, in the fourth stanza here, the phrase I need know was repeated many times. So this is an example of anaphora. So those are some of the figurative languages used by the author in the poem. So do you have any questions? None. Alright. Then I have a question for you, class. So as a youth of today, what do you think you can do to help promote the peace for the next generation? Yes, David. So that's a wonderful answer. How about you, Katrina? Alright, that's good. So I hope, class, you would do it for the sake of our next generation. So if you don't have any questions, so for our activity, I want you to group yourselves into 5. From you, Luigi, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Then go to your respective group. So are you already in your respective groups? Alright? Okay? So for our activity, I want you to present this poem, The Hiroshima Child by Nazim Hikmet, in a creative way. Okay, so for the criteria we have here. So we have here 30% for the creativity, that includes your costume and ideas. 30% for the delivery of the poem, that includes also the intonation and pronunciation of the words. And 20% for the volume of your voice, that also includes your clarity of your voice. And lastly, we have 20% for the organization and cooperation of the groups, with a total of 100%. So, do you have any questions? None? Alright. So, for your assignment, I want you to do some advanced study or advanced research about the elements of a story that we will be discussed tomorrow. Are we clear? Alright. So, that would be all for today. You're dismissed, class.